Ladies and gentlemen, live from the West Coast, it's time for Ring Talk Live Worldwide.
Hey, yo.
For over 30 years, and still, your inside look into boxing and mixed martial arts.
You know what? As long as she fights at 135 pounds, I don't care if she's injecting a horse demon into her eyeballs.
Heard live around the world and brought to you by the World Boxing Organization. And now, live from the Ring Talk Studios in San Francisco, here's the host of the longest-running fight show in history, Pedro Fernandez.
Damas y caballeros, bienvenidos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the multi-million-dollar Sports Byline Studios in San Francisco, California. Yes, the man was correct. He did not err. My name is Pedro Fernandez. Of course, the reigning, the defending, 34, making 35 years next month. The undisputed, often imitated but never duplicated heavyweight champion on the radio airwaves, folks. Straight up, that is me. Having a good time today. 2 hours, of course, of Ring Talk Live Worldwide. Hour number one will concentrate primarily on the sport of boxing. Hour number two, of course, we'll shift gears. We'll talk boxing and mixed martial arts. We'll hear from, guess who? Chris Cyborg Santos and Amanda Nunes. Of course, the battle of the chicks are going to go down. They both hate each other. They're both from Brazil. It's going to be a great fight later in the year for the UFC. Boxing-wise, lots of stuff to talk about. I'm talking about Isaac, get this, Isaac Dogbo. I talked about him yesterday. I said he was going to blow that Japanese guy out of the water. Well, he blew him out of the water in less than one round. That's right. The 122-pound champion, still undefeated, 20-0 now. At 135 pounds, the WBO title change. He has to talk about Raimondo. Ray Beltran lost his title, of course, to Jose the Sniper Pedraza in the Battle of Puerto Rico. Pedraza undefeated. They called it an upset, but man, Beltran was nothing more than a glorified, journeyman that was Manny Pacquiao's sparring partner. Outside of that, what's his claim to fame? Not much. You are tuned to Ring Talk Live Worldwide. Your claim to fame, will you give us a call? Join us to be part of the show. 1-800-878-7529. That's 1-800-878-7529. Or get this, the guilt-free, no-commitment text line. Just text us something. You don't have to get involved with the show and come on the air. 415-275-1613. That's right. The Ring Talk text line, once again, 415-275-1613. You're tuned to the mighty Sports Byline Broadcast Network.
Want to fly somewhere? Looking for cheap flights or cheap tickets? Then call. That's right. Call the low-cost airline travel hotline now for prices so low we can't publish them anywhere. Low Cost Airlines has all kinds of cheap travel deals. Fly domestically and save up to 75%. You can even fly internationally and save even more. Yes, fly anywhere in the world and save a lot of money on your plane tickets. We'll even save you money with cheap travel deals on hotels, rental cars, even complete travel packages. So don't book your tickets until you call us first for the absolute cheapest prices on U.S. and international airline tickets and hotels. Call right now for prices so low they can't be published. Travel experts are here 24/7 to help. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. That's 800-754-4531.
Hi, Rick Tittle here. You may know me as the sports talk host that can talk about all sports: football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, golf, tennis, auto racing, boxing, Olympics, rollerball. But this time I'm here to talk about pain. If you have pain in your knee or your back like I do, then you should know about the Health Alert Hotline. If Medicare is your primary insurance, then you could qualify for a back or knee brace at little or no charge. I have an old injury from my football playing days, and anything that can help take that pain away and make it more manageable, that has my attention. I love the free delivery, and they take care of the paperwork for you. So if you have Medicare and need help for back, ankle, knee, or shoulder pain, please call the Health Alert Hotline at 800-428-1570. That's 800-428-1570. Agents are standing by 24/7, so go ahead and call now. 800-428-1570.
If you are age 85 or younger,
Call to learn more about final expense plans from a licensed agent in the Angel Care Network. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. Are you at risk of leaving loved ones to help pay your debts? A final expense policy for seniors can pay up to $30,000 for funeral and other final expenses. You don't need a medical exam, and you can have lifetime coverage. And the policy cannot be canceled. To receive free information about final expense plans from a licensed agent in the Angel Care Network, call now. You'll also receive information about a free prescription discount card just for calling in. Agents are standing by.
Call 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. Call now. That's 800-508-5774.
I thought I would knock him on the early rounds, but like I said, he brings excellent condition and he's determined.
Why didn't you go after him to try to knock him out when you knocked him down early in the third round?
I said, why get careless if I've been training for 2 months?
Here's the knockdown. Describe it to us as you see it.
Well, like I told Jimmy, the 1-2 is going to get him all the time. But I wasn't going to get overexcited and play myself cheap. I said, I'll knock him out early if it happens. If not, if it's necessary, I'll go 12 rounds, and I did.
Did you go to school, so to speak, on what happened to Rosario when he knocked him down and then got knocked out himself?
No, because I knocked down a lot of fighters that still took my time. I'm just getting seasoned through every fight, and I'm pound for pound. I'm the best fighter pound for pound in the world. Bring him on. Bring him on. Man, see me. I don't respect your opinion. Come on, baby. I can knock you out.
Well, who are some of the
Bernard Williker. You could get some, baby. You could get some too, Brian Boo. Jimmy Paul. Tommy Holmes. All your come on with it, baby. Yeah, buddy. Let's hear from you, Larry.
What about Aaron Pryor?
Aaron Pryor, come on with it, baby. I got faith in you. You bounce back. I know you. Come on, baby. Come on with it. It's macho time.
Fellas, I'm ready to get up and do my thing. I want to get into it, man, you know. Like a sex machine, man. Moving, doing it, you know. Can I count it off? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Now, more Ring Talk with Pedro Fernandez.
He is the greatest fighter of all times next to me.
Although Hector Camacho would have 85 professional fights that night in 1985, August 10th to be exact, a 12-round win over Jose Luis Ramirez at the Riviera Hotel in Las Vegas was his zenith, in my opinion, no doubt about that. Now, the man that was interviewing him, the Harlem Heckler, was the Godfather himself, Larry Merchant. Hey, Larry, I gave that title to Camacho, and he ran with it for years, the Harlem Heckler. That fits him, doesn't it?
Hey, he was a very good fighter, but once he got into a serious fight that he lost, he backed off and became a hit and runner.
Yep.
And he was, an exciting personality, one of the early guys who realized how to market himself as a personality, as a fighter. He had a good career. It didn't end well.
No, it didn't. And, I did the television for his beating Ray Leonard. And, of course, Ray Leonard was way on the downside going into that. And I remember, a couple of times in his career where he reached out and did some community work with me. And I thought that was really, really cool. And then there were other times. I told you about the time he was fighting in Puerto Rico. And we were at the arena getting ready to do this, and we had cut the open for the television, and the promoter comes to me and says that Camacho isn't coming. He's all coked out in his hotel room. And I said, oh, yeah? And he said, yeah. And he goes, so I guess we're not going to get paid. And when he said that, I guess we're not going to get paid, that sort of motivated me to go back to the hotel. So I went back to the hotel and drug Hector's ass to the fight.
That's a good story, but that was part of his trajectory in the wrong direction, and not unlike some other fighters, he just had nowhere else to go.
No doubt about it. Of course, passed away a couple of years ago when he was shot. They called it collateral damage. The cocaine dealer he was shooting at, they missed and got Camacho and said, okay, enough of that. I take that back. Let me deal with one more thing here. John McCain in boxing. While in a room with the now late Senator John McCain circa 1987, there were some great boxing champions in those same confines. That being said, John McCain, the tortured Vietnam POW, was the baddest pound-for-pound dude present. After a 1992 fight between James Toney and Dave Tiberi, McCain would write the Muhammad Ali Boxing Act, a strong piece of legislation until former Senator Harry Reid of Las Vegas watered it down for the Nevada boxing establishment. When scandal arose circa 2004 in Phoenix, the same time I pinned the tail on the donkey that is promoter Peter McKinn, who aided in his becoming a convicted felon for crimes related to boxing. With the plethora of evidence that the then Arizona Boxing Commission was beyond compromise, McCain's aide met with me twice, but nothing ever came of the meetings. Word had it McCain was pissed off because I reminded a national radio audience in Phoenix drive time that McCain was one of the Keating Five, who were 5 senators in bed with Thomas Keating, the savings and loan czar that went to prison while his depositors lost everything and went to the poorhouse. Of late, McCain admitted some mistakes made in life, like picking Sarah Palin to be his VP. But in the end, and this is the final bell for boxing's biggest fan in Washington, D.C., John McCain was the bravest man I've ever met. No doubt about that. Godfather, your words on John McCain?
Well, I had a couple of short visits with him. One, it was about something I was doing for HBO on a gambling bill that was making its way through Congress, and he was involved in a committee and so on. He seemed to me to be a guy who was wound really tight.
Yeah.
We know that we saw him at ringside at many big fights, that he boxed at Annapolis. But from boxing's point of view, the Muhammad Ali Act was a big deal because it gave fighters better leverage in negotiating with promoters who had to inform them of whatever television deals were made and what the revenues were likely to be for fights. And that gave some fighters a measure of independence. Also, once in Vegas, I saw him at a crap table, and I just stopped by to play for a little while, just so that someday I could tell you that I played craps with John McCain.
Okay. Now I'm not knocking the Muhammad Ali Boxing Act. I thought it was, monumental legislation, no doubt about it, and it was a step in the right direction. But the fact that there's been no enforcement of the Ali Act, since 1996, nobody's ever been brought up on charges because of the Ali Act, violating any of the Ali Act, and there's been many violations that the Association of Boxing Commissions just didn't pick up on because they don't have the teeth. The teeth were to enforce these rules and laws was pulled away from them.
Well, like any law, it's only as good as it's enforced. I don't know all the particulars. Some elite fighters have been able to use it to leverage their careers and purses. But you're right. I don't think commissions universally enforce it. Sometimes because commissions are there to help promoters promote, which keeps commissions going. And if a promoter doesn't like a commission's rules, it can go somewhere else in boxing. So I'm not surprised at that either. But it tried, and I think today the managements of fighters are just better informed generally of what the sources of revenue could be for their fights, and that helps them to negotiate.
The Godfather Larry Merchant's in the house, so stick around for one more segment. You are tuned to Ring Talk live on Sports Byline, SB Nation Radio Sports, iHeartRadio, SiriusXM Satellite Radio, iTunes, Stitcher.com, TuneIn.com. I keep going, but the bottom line is, let's listen to them at Godfather of Soul. Talk about James Brown, Larry Merchant, back after the break.
What did you do to me? Leave my heart heavy in misery.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. That's 800-535-7789.
If you or someone you love suffers from drug addiction, now is the time to utilize your private health insurance PPO plan. If eligible, receive up to $30,000 or more in substance abuse benefits with low or no out-of-pocket cost. We are the National Treatment Network, the premier drug and alcohol treatment referral service operating 24/7. We help connect you with facilities nationwide that accepts PPO private health insurance for substance abuse. If you have PPO substance abuse coverage and you need immediate admittance to a medical detox or residential rehab treatment center, call us now. Call our live referral helpline today. The call is free. This program is not available to Medicare or Medicaid customers.
Call 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. That's 800-296-1252.
Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Clapper, Chief of Orthopedic Surgery at Cedars-Sinai Medical Group in Los Angeles, California. Dedicated to your health, your life, and your sports. As a weekend warrior, you know about sports injuries and pain. Exercise is an important element in keeping your body's core in good shape to minimize sports injuries. But when you are in pain, there is one product that I recommend to my patients, and that is Blue Goo Gel. Blue Goo consists of a proprietary formula developed specifically for the treatment of inflammation and general muscle aches and strains. I recommend Blue Goo for my patients coping with hip and knee pain before surgery, especially bursitis and tendinitis. Give Blue Goo a try. Call 1-888-330-0123 and you'll receive a 1-week supply of Blue Goo absolutely free. The makers of Blue Goo are even paying the shipping. The number again is 1-888-330-0123. If you want more information on Blue Goo, visit online at www.dothegoo.com.
Now available at select Big 5 stores near you.
I gotta use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything.
Now, more of Ring Talk with Pedro Fernandez.
He certainly knows how to shake things up.
Now we're feeling what not having hope feels like. You know.
Tough phone call for us to make.
Bringing it back 24 and a half minutes past area 2 and do Sports Byline. My name is Pedro Fernandez on the line from Southern California. The retired HBO godfather, Larry Merchant. And Larry, can you explain to my audience why the president is an unindicted co-conspirator? Is that a tough one?
He's involved in a lot of financial shenanigans, going way back to his life as a real estate developer and hustler, and he's surrounded himself with people, lawyers, accountants, and others to try to shield himself from the law. You know, there are a certain number of people who I think are pathological. They're sociopaths who don't think the rules of society, the laws of society, refer to them. They are just things to overcome. And that's how he got to where he got. And we knew who he was when he was running for office, as your clip there showed. and we as a country elected him president.
But did we elect him president? Because, Godfather, the way I'm looking at the Electoral College, if there was a little persuasion here and there, by bots and that kind of good stuff on the internet, inducing people to not vote or to vote for Jill Stein or something like that. I mean, it just stunk to holy hell. I mean, and now they say the president can't be indicted. He can't be charged when he's in office. Well, if he got in office by cheating, how could he not be charged for the crime of cheating?
That remains to be seen, whether or not there was some kind of, for the general term of collusion. We don't have any hard evidence of that, and I think unless the Mueller investigation comes up with something that's explosive, that Trump will be able to delay, and depending on the political winds, which is to say what happens in the by-election, that will be more likely to be telling about what happens in the immediate future legally of the president than what the investigation turns up, unless there are some bodies buried somewhere. But there are a battery of potential lawsuits and actual lawsuits, and there is some feeling that the only way to apply them to a president is in Congress with an impeachment, and that is a very difficult thing to pull off, particularly when the president is of the same party as the Congress.
Okay. Question. A boy named Sue, he was the most maligned guy in school, no doubt about it. But if you were named Dogbo, I'd imagine that you drew a lot of heat for that one, dog bone, all that kind of good stuff. But Isaac Dogbone, this 122-pounder, originally from Ghana, now fighting out of London, UK, he blew that Japanese guy out of the water last night, but he looks like he can really fight.
Well, we've seen some good fighters from Ghana.
Zuma Nelson,
Mike Corte.
Yep.
And the British left that heritage when Ghana was one of their colonies, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And every once in a while, one of them materializes, and as you say, usually it's some kind of British-connected promoters who find them or they find him. And this guy looks like he's a real fighter.
Bad blood on the telephone the other day between Canelo Alvarez, the team of Canelo Alvarez, and Gennady Golovkin. And I don't mean it that they were playing it up like, Ali and Frazier hamming it up back and forth. This really seemed like there was really malice for both guys who just don't like each other. This is real stuff.
I agree with you. I think there is a serious bitterness. I'm not sure where Golovkin's originated because the drugs situation didn't personally mean anything to him except it just postponed the big fight for 6 months. Maybe it goes back to their first fight and the decision, and exposing some form of the character of Golovkin and the meanness underneath who he is, and it's become very personal. I've been told that Canelo feels that they have gone way beyond any lines in trying to promote this drug situation, which promotes itself. Nobody can dodge it. And so there is a hard feelings between them, and we'll see if that plays out in the fight itself. We'll see whether Golovkin feels he needs to come out really hard and maybe go from being a terrific, relentless smart, aggressive fighter to getting a little reckless against a younger, quicker boxer counterpuncher, and how they use their anger in the fight, how they control it, how they lose control. That is part of the narrative of this fight.
Godfather, I was looking at the fight logs, and of course, heavyweight prospect Efe Agabaga is 6-0 with 5 KOs. He was awarded a knockout when disqualification when Curtis Harper, when the bell rang, he walked out of the ring. He just put his head between the ropes and walked out of the ring. But wait, somebody said they'd never seen that before. But here I was at the LA Forum, and the guy that won the Golden Gloves with me in 1986, he also won the 1988 Olympic trials. Talk about Bomani Parker. His name was Parker White back in the early 80s, but it was Bomani Parker. He was in the middle of a fight, and I was in the first row. I remember eating the popcorn, and Stuart Margolin was there from the Rockford Files, and he just jumped out of the ring, and he ran up the aisle. I'm not kidding you. And he ran out of the Forum, and he ran to that hotel across the street, the Park Hotel, wherever it was, and he ran to his room. Nobody ever saw him again.
Well, that's why we have amateur fighters fighting before they become professional. We try to find out which ones have the stuff to deal with being a professional, and sometimes that means looking across the ring and seeing some guy, who looks like King Kong, and you decide you're in the wrong place.
He said he wasn't getting paid enough money or something like that, but I think you should have sort of pitched that bitch before you got in the ring, don't you think?
That sounds like a pretty good idea.
The Godfather, Larry Merchant's in the house, of course, the Hall of Famer himself. And Larry, we're looking at the LA fight scene. Is the Forum picking up? I mean, are there regular cards at the Forum I'm not hearing about?
No, you're not hearing about them because they're not happening.
Oh, okay.
And I think there are so many places, venues to have fights, that a promoter's job is to figure out what works, what's likely, and maybe the rent is 2 times or 4 times more at the Forum than it is at a smaller venue where a fight makes more sense to everybody, dollars and cents wise. But there is some fight coming up that's going to be there, and I don't remember which it was. It may be that Lomachenko, when he fights next in December against Pedraza. Is it the guy who...
Is Pedraza stepping out a little bit? I mean, there's a thing called like enjoying your title reign, not jumping right into the barbecue pit with a guy like Lomachenko.
Well, but maybe that's where the money is.
Okay.
And maybe fighting Lomachenko and fighting well adds to your resume, even if you lose. A fight is not just about winning and losing. Obviously, winning and losing is of high importance. But if you have a good fight and people say, I want to see that guy again, and you lose, and you haven't had that kind of big exposure on the big stage, well, then it's up to your management to decide. Also, I think it's a mandatory, but I'm not sure of that. Maybe it's something else. And if he wants to tackle a hard guy and he thinks he's got the style to cope with him, then hey, go for it. I'm eager to go into a time frame where more fighters like Mikey Garcia, who talks about fighting Spence, who would be a strong favorite to beat Garcia, but he wants to fight Spence. I want to see more fighters take chances. I want to see them. What was it that Muhammad Ali has said about wanting to be great? Daring to be great.
Yep.
I want to see fighters dare, make big events,
the great Larry Merchant on Sports Byline. Larry, say hi to the Godmama for me.
Sure will. Have a good weekend.
Larry Merchant, folks, we are blessed with the Godfather, the HBO, man, what can I say, the Hall of Fame. I can go on and on and on and on, but each and every time I have him on the radio, I feel touched. Thank you so much. You are tuned to the mighty Sports Byline Broadcast Network. Open phone lines. We'll bring in Johnny Sig right now, 1-800-878-7529. That's 1-800-878-7529. Johnny Sig will tell us about the weekend in boxing in detail. You're tuned to the mighty Sports Byline Broadcast Network.
I noticed my neighbor put a broken World's Best Dad mug in the recycling bin by his curb, so I did what anyone would do. Fixed it with some JB Weld Clear Weld epoxy, then returned the next morning to stand in his yard and drink coffee. He and his family stared out the window at me with confusion, and underneath that, fear. And underneath that, I want to say jealous anger. But underneath that, there was also appreciation for a lesson well learned. Don't toss it, JB Weld it.
Your car's engine deals with pressures that can cause intense friction that can
waste up to 10% of engine performance.
Power up with Castrol Edge with fluid titanium technology. It's 3 times stronger than leading oils against viscosity breakdown. Buy 5 quarts of Castrol Edge and a Purolator Boss filter for $32.99 at Advance or participating CarQuest Auto Parts stores. 3 times stronger based on Kurt Orban test. 5W30 Visgrade.
I'm Chris Walsh. I'm a truck driver.
Your car's engine deals with
13 hours a night. I sit in my truck and I drive. Out of boredom, I'll stop and eat. If I'm not doing fast food, I guarantee there's a bag of chips open on my dashboard. Along with that, I'm good for about 4 liters of soda a night. That was all until Andro 400. I started out 4 months ago weighing 341 pounds, and since taking Andro 400, I have dropped 45 pounds. I'm sleeping better. There's no cravings. There's no excessive thirst. My knee pain went away. I've had some lower back issues, and I've noticed that went away, and I can only contribute that to Andro 400. One thing that Andro 400 said on the radio ad says it attacks belly fat. Well, let me tell you, it did. I've lost 6 inches. This product really does work.
So guys, if you'd like to experience similar results, then get Andro 400. The safe, natural, and inexpensive way to boost your testosterone. Go to andro400.com. andro400.com.
Someone is searching your name or business online. What will they find? Do you have negative search results online? Do you have false accusations, records from a legal situation, or bad press from your past? To reclaim your reputation, call 1-888-WE-DELETE or visit GuaranteedRemovals.com. That's 1-888-933-3538. Or visit GuaranteedRemovals.com. If there is any negative information about you online, GuaranteedRemovals.com will permanently delete it for you. That's right, it is possible to remove negative content from the internet. And GuaranteedRemovals.com is the only company focusing on permanently deleting negative online content. We have successfully removed over 10,000 links, including news articles, arrest records, legal documents, business complaints, blogs, pictures, videos, and more. We offer a no-money upfront guarantee. You don't pay until your online content is removed. Call 1-888-WE-DELETE to talk to our dedicated specialists who are here to assist you. That's 1-888-933-3538 or GuaranteedRemovals.com.
Now, more of Ring Talk with Pedro Fernandez.
I'm just ready to get it on and crush this guy's skull.
Scary. When he was in his peak, he was scary. And yes, I think Flintstone vitamins were involved as well. You are tuned to the mighty Sports Byline Broadcast Network. My name is Pedro Fernandez, celebrating 35 years of radio next month, of course, with my co-star here. I'm going to talk about the one, the only, John Signorella. Johnny, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing great, Pedro. Thanks for having me on. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing fine. Before we get to the real fights, I do want to mention this, the Bull Spit Fight of the Week. I'm talking about Pacific Northwest Junior Middleweight prospect Stephen Hands of Gold Villalobos. Now 10-0 with 1 draw and 8 knockouts. Won a fight last night in 8-round unanimous decision over Lionel Jimenez, who came in at 5-23 with 4 knockouts. Congratulations to Mr. Villalobos.
That was over in Portland, right?
That was in Portland. That was the main event. People paid to see that? You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. I mean, you have to be. Listen, that's one of those gigs when if I was a ring announcer, I'd say, a veteran of 30 professional fights with 4 knockouts. I mean, I wouldn't be saying he was 5-24.
Hey, wait, you pull a Curtis Harper and just walk out of the ring?
Curtis Harper had some issues. Hey, Bomani Parker jumped out of the ring in the middle of a fight.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a 1988 Olympic trials champion. I mean, he was the real deal, man. He could really fight. He was born Parker White across the pond here. I mean, he could really, really fight. We won the Golden Gloves together in '86, and he went off to do his pro thing. And so I guess it was about 1990. And I'm just sitting there eating, chomping on popcorn, this and that, sitting ringside the forum. And he just runs out of the ring. I mean, there was no forewarning or nothing. And the last night, next time I saw him, he was in jail.
Amazing, dude. Only in boxing, like you think you've seen it all when Oliver McCall cried in the ring, but you know what? There's always something else that could happen out there.
Okay, let's go through the weekend. Mr. Dogbo, is that a guy like I referred to him with Larry Merchant as a boy named Sue? Do you think he took a lot of smack for that name?
Oh, absolutely. Tough name, Dog Bone, very close to Dog Bone. But I tell you what, tough kid. I love this kid. I think he stole the show the entire weekend. Loved the body head attack that he put on Otaki. And I tell you what, dude, that left hook festival he put on him with body shots and uppercuts, just brutal stuff. And you know what? He's a great soundbite. Articulate kid, great personality, exactly what boxing needs in the modern era.
True, the WBO champion at 122. Now, at 135, I wasn't all that impressed with Mr. Beltran to begin with. Talk about Raymundo Beltran. Of course, his claim to fame was being Manny Pacquiao's sparring partner. And there's not too many guys I know that have climbed to extreme significance in the world of boxing being a sparring partner. But talk to me about that.
Well, last night I wasn't really too impressed with both guys. It was a decent fight. I felt the knockdown for Pedraza gave him the edge in the fight and closing the 12th round out as he did, throwing a barrage of punches at Ray Beltran. Even though some judges had it like way out of whack, like 117, 110, I think twice. But it was the type of fight that, for me, moving forward, because they already sealed the deal and closed the date for December 1st against Lomachenko, I think that Pedraza would be more competitive. I mean, if Beltran was struggling against Pedraza, Pedraza's boxing style, I mean, Lomachenko would run circles around him.
Yeah, but
Beltran, so that would have just been like...
Beltran was just being set up for that payday, and that's all there was. Everybody knew that he wasn't a full dozen.
100%, and of course, I feel he deserves it. He went through a lot of trials and tribulations in his life. Pedraza gets the probably almost $1 million payday. I'm going to say like $750,000 he's probably going to get for that fight against Lomachenko, which is a great payday. But at the end of the day, you have two boxers now. Might be a boring fight, but Lomachenko, no doubt, leaps and bounds, is a better boxer. Bro.
Okay, Lomachenko, that's going to be at 135. Is that going to be his? Is that going to be the top? Is that going to be as high as he can go weight wise? Because I just don't think he can dominate people that are his size or bigger than him.
Well, if we're regarding Lomachenko here, if you go up to 140, there are 6 unbeaten guys there: Regis Prograis, Jose Ramirez, Antonio Orozco, Maurice Hooker, Alex Cecido, Josh Taylor as well. Bad dudes, bigger guys. We'll see what happens. Regis Prograis and Lomachenko, I think, would be a good fight if we could make that happen. Jose Ramirez, who's going to take on Antonio Orozco September 14th on ESPN. Cannot wait for that fight. That's a division I've talked about every single week, and it seems to get more and more enticing every single week as well.
It's smack, right? It's right smack between lightweight and welterweight, and people say to me, well, it's a 5-pound drop to lightweight. Why can't guys just drop 5 pounds? Or why can't guys just put on 8 pounds? People, I mean, I get more stuff on weight than as far as emails and things that are concerned. More stuff on weight that I put too much emphasis on weight. Man, weight is the fight to me wasn't the fight. The fight was making the weight and being strong.
Absolutely. If you look at guys at 147, right, they're usually guys that walk around at 160 to get down to 147. A lot of guys that we just mentioned right now in the 140 class, they're guys that started their career at 135 and tried to move up, which as you advance in age, it gets easier to move up. So we're talking about different frame style guys that are naturally smaller trying to move up, and guys that are naturally bigger trying to get to a good fight weight that makes them strong at 147. That's why I tell everyone this Earl Spence thing against Mikey Garcia, I think it's crazy. Because don't get it twisted, dude. You know, Mikey Garcia is a great fighter, but Earl Spence, dude, walks around at least 160, always in good shape, but his fighting shape 147. He might actually end up being 160 by the time his career fleshes itself out.
Okay. Mikey Garcia and Lomachenko, this is the fight they should have made, and they didn't make it because, why, promoters?
I agree it should be 100% made. Mikey Garcia had a problem with Top Rank, used to be with him, long story short. Lomachenko's there now. I still think that they can make it happen. I just think Mikey's got his eyes on Earl Spence. For whatever reason, he's obsessed with getting that fight. Maybe he knows something I don't or we don't know, but, man, I think it's a tall task and tough task, tall order for him. Hello?
Al Heyman doesn't want to deal with Bob Arum, and both guys, as far as Lomachenko is concerned. Of course, Mikey Garcia and Spence, they're both promoted by Al Heyman.
Pete, I lost you there for a second.
Yeah.
Could you just repeat the question? I'm sorry. My phone went out.
I said the reason that this fight between Lomachenko and Mikey Garcia can't be made is that the rival promoters, Bob Arum's got Lomachenko, and of course, and Al Heyman's got Garcia, and of course Garcia and Spence are both with Al Heyman. You see how that fight's easier for him to make?
Oh, 100%. And here's what's up. Mikey Garcia considers himself to be a free agent. However, every single billing he's on is pretty much a PBC, Al Heyman, Showtime type production. So I find that interesting. But yeah, 100%. It's an easier negotiation between the two.
How good is Mikey Garcia? Is he 40-0? At 40-0, I mean, obviously he's beating everybody put in front of him. But has he been tested? Has his mettle been tested, or has it been to the point where he's so vastly superior to his foes that it hasn't yet?
I think the latter, what you just said right there. I think he's definitely more superior than previous opponents. Maybe that's why he wants to challenge himself against like a Spence. I mean, I would have picked someone else if I was him, but then again, I'm not a world-class fighter like Mikey Garcia. I think realistically, again, I'd like to see him in that 140 Who's Who division because, I mean, he'd be another unbeaten guy there that would look good. But, I mean, to answer your question, I think he's just, in a class of his own in itself and top 10 pound for sure.
Comparisons between Mikey Garcia and Roberto Duran and the fact that both are talking about going to welterweight. I mean, Duran went from 135 to 147, and I asked him about that. I said, man, what happened to the 140-pound championship? He said Antonio Cervantes, the WBA champion out of Colombia, out of Colombia, he wasn't going to fight him. No way, no how. So the WBA told Duran's people, forget 140, go to 147, of course, and he beat Leonard.
I tell you what, though, again, exceptional fighter in a class of his own. Roberto Duran, again, I always say arguably maybe one of the best fighters of all time. And that maybe
the greatest.
That's what I'm saying, 100. And it takes that type of talent to achieve those wonderful things. I mean, look at Muhammad Ali, the way he boxed. That wouldn't work for everyone. You have to have a certain amount of athleticism, especially as a big man, to box like that. Work for him. Other people try it. They get knocked the F out.
And Duran was all about timing. I mean, he was out jabbing Marvin Hagler and beat Marvin Hagler with right-hand leads and socking Ray Leonard with right-hand leads. I mean, this is pure talent and timing, skill.
I think he invented his own type of style that was obviously tried to be emulated over the years with hybrids of different types of styles. But he was definitely his own craftsman for sure.
Freddie Brown was a trainer. Of course, Ray Arcel gets a lot of the credit, but Freddie Brown was the guy that would go down to Panama and spend 6 or 7 weeks. He was the guy that honed Duran. When Duran came to Freddie Brown, when Arletta, the people that were running Duran, brought him to Freddie Brown and Ray Arcel. Ray Arcel was a guy that came in basically at the last minute, last week and a half, looked good for the press and worked the corner and this and that. But Freddie Brown was a trainer. And speaking of trainers, he was a fantastic teacher. And I want to say this, although I really have a problem saying it, but who also was probably a great teacher and still alive is Panama Lewis. I know he's a crook, and I know he took the padding out of the gloves, and he and I almost had a fist fight at the Buster Mathis Mike Tyson fight in 1996, I think, in Philadelphia at the Spectrum, and we almost had our own get on. And Don King said to me, "Pedro, you ain't afraid of him?" No, I wasn't afraid of him. No, I wasn't afraid of him. But Don, watch this thing go down because I told Panama, blah, 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 you should never be around boxing, this, that. But still, he knows he was taught the Freddie Brown. He learned from Freddie Brown. I don't think there's any too many guys still alive that have learned from that great guy. And if you can't pick up what those great guys left, we're destined to try to reinvent themselves. But some old school stuff works. And the Freddie Brown stuff, I thought he was an excellent trainer, man. Teaching Durant how to outbox taller guys. Come on.
Yeah, like I said, dude, he pioneered and crafted his own type of style, which I always admire. You know, it stands out. It's unique. Going back to Panama, yeah, great trainer, very controversial. Remember the special mix?
Yeah, the special. He took the padding out of the gloves that night. Listen, Aaron Pryor and I didn't get high with him, but he got high. And I take it back. We smoked a little weed together. But we did a lot of hanging around in Las Vegas, and there were some times when things were real quiet, and I would ask, I do that. I just ask, and I said to him, did Panama take the stuffing out of those gloves? With Arguello the first time? Because they disappeared after the ring. I said, where are they? No, I don't know. I said, what do you mean you don't know? I said, they were your gloves, man. I don't know. And he said, I don't know 3 times in a row. In other words, don't say anymore. You know what I mean? So that was that. But, yeah. And then I asked Arguello about it, and Arguello said there was no doubt in his mind that he thought that he was getting hit a lot harder than he was. And, of course, Arguello was never busted up that bad in like 90 fights, man. 80 fights, and he gets busted up that bad in that fight. Broken, I think he had a fractured orbital bone, those cuts above and below the eye. Arguello never got busted up like that. So, Pryor... what can I say? Flintstone. What do you think? I was told the Flintstone vitamins were. The special mix was. What's that stuff? The schnapps, peppermint schnapps. That's what I was told it was. Is that what you heard?
Something like that. Yeah, whatever it was, it definitely lit the fire under his butt, man. And I watched that fight numerous times. Arguello was my father's favorite fighter. My father had told me that fight broke his heart. That first one.
The greatest right hand ever thrown that didn't end the fight in the 13th round there.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Without a doubt. Johnny Sigel, join us in hour number 2, folks. This is Ring Talk Live worldwide on Sports Byline. Johnny Sigel, I'll see you in a bit.
Can't wait, buddy. See you guys soon.
All the best. John Signorelli, of course, will be talking boxing hour number 2. But primarily in hour number 2, I'm going to focus on the mixed martial arts world. Talking about UFC, baby. Rocking and rolling last night, of course. UFC in Nebraska. Lincoln, Nebraska. 15,000-seat arena. How many people showed up? We'll find out in hour number 2. You're tuned to Ring Talk Live worldwide. Janet Jackson to the break.
Here's an urgent alert from the Student Loan Hotline. The average student loan debt is $25,000. Have you been out of college for 10 or more years and you're still making your student loan payments? If you are struggling with paying off your student loan, if you are past due, Nationwide Student Loan Relief can now restructure your student loans. We can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop harassing collection calls, even eliminate your student loan payment. If you can't afford your student loans, or if you're past due and you need help, you must call right now. We will restructure your loan or your money back, and that's a guarantee. So call the Student Loan Hotline right now. 800-949-8707. 800-949-8707. 800-949-8707. 800-949-8707.
You are about to experience the most face-fracturing, jaw-jarring, bone-breaking, neck-cracking type of radio known to mankind. Welcome to the No Holds Barred Show.
Welcome to hour number 2 of No Holds Barred, live from the Sports Byline Studios in San Francisco, California. Yes, same guy. My name is Pedro Fernandez. I am your host. We're going to talk mixed martial arts in this hour, of course. For the most part, MMA is thought to be like, cage fighting, but boxing is a mixed martial arts as well. Of course, we'll hear from boxing reporter extraordinaire, Mr. Las Vegas, John Signorella, at 40 minutes past the hour. But before that, we'll hear from the world 145-pound champion of the UFC. I'm talking about Chris Cyborg Santos. Man, Amanda Nunes called her out. They're going to do the fight December 29th in Las Vegas. UFC going to rock and roll, no doubt about that. In the main event, I guess it's going to be Brock Lesnar and Daniel Cormier for the World Heavyweight Championship. We'll talk in depth and hear from both the challenger and the champion. I'm talking about the challenger being the ascending 135-pound champion. Amanda Nunes moving up to 145 to get her head handed to her by the reigning 145-pound king, queen, call it what you want. She's the most dominant force in mixed martial arts. I'm talking about Chris Cyborg Santos. So lots of things to talk about. The open phone lines, they're yours as well. 1-800-878-PLAY. That's 1-800-878-7529. A lot of people opt for the text line. You can, like, shoot me a text, and not to have to come on the air. Because coming on the air is embarrassing to some people. I don't know why, but I guess it is. Anyway, here's the text line. Shoot us a text if you like. 415-275-1613. That's 415-275-1613. You're tuned to No Holds Barred. Hour number 2, live on Sports Byline.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from Resort Release, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get rid of their expensive timeshares. Once you've made that decision to get rid of your timeshare for any reason, Resort Release is offering a Better Business Bureau accredited way to legally get rid of your timeshare, guaranteed. We guaranteed to get rid of your timeshare payments permanently. Even if you've tried another company to get rid of your expensive timeshare, call now and see if we can help you. At Resort Release, you don't pay anything until you're ready. If you're ready to learn how to permanently get rid of your costly timeshare, make this complimentary free call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
Do you have Medicare and do you use a CPAP machine? This is a national healthcare alert regarding your CPAP supplies. Using a clean CPAP mask and clean supplies is important to staying healthy. The best way to make sure your CPAP equipment is clean is to get new supplies. If you have Medicare, we have great news. Medicare will pay for you to have new clean supplies every 90 days. We'll even do all the paperwork for you to make sure that there's little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. And you don't even have to leave your home. We provide free in-home delivery. So if you're a CPAP user and you have Medicare, staying healthy with new CPAP equipment is easy. Just make this free phone call right now to get started.
Call the CPAP hotline now. 800-430-4234. 800-430-4234. That's 800-430-4234. Copays and deductibles apply. Supplies are replaced in accordance with Medicare guidelines.
Being a new parent means every high and low you can imagine. But Evos can make it all easier with a baby monitor you can trust. Go to myevos.com. That's MYEVOZ.com to see how Evos can be the eyes and ears of your nursery. Evos works with your smartphone to provide a live audio and HD video connection to your baby anytime and anywhere. On a date, at work, away on business, even serving your country overseas, Evos helps you never miss a moment. Whether your baby is with a sitter, your partner, a grandparent, or a friend, you'll be right there too. And with unique features like smart alerts that know the difference between a barking dog and your baby crying, extensive sleep tracking data, and state-of-the-art security features for your peace of mind, Evos is the smart baby monitor for connected parents. and enter the code SPORTS at checkout for $20 off. That's myevos.com. MYEVOZ.com.
Now, more of the MMA Hour with Pedro Fernandez.
UFC Fight Night, Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports 2, and Fight Pass. I kid you not, they had this on 3 different broadcast networks last night, 3 different platforms. Why they do this, I have no idea. The real UFC, the diehard fan, just must absolutely go berserk, or maybe they've got this down. But you had to go from UFC Fight Pass in 3 fights, one being a women's flyweight bout, won by Joanna Calderoy over Kalinda Faria. That was submission armbar in the very first round. But that was a Fight Pass main event per se. And there was 4 fights on the Fox Sports 2 card, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights on the Fox Sports 1 card. In the main event, Justin Gaethje, pretty good looking lightweight, no doubt about it. Now knocked out James Vick, a knockout. Of course, Gaethje had lost a couple fights coming into this fight against Dustin Poirier, and I can't remember who the other guy was. But the bottom line was he's a good fighter, world class. And as I said before, there are so many different ways to win and lose, especially lose in the world of mixed martial arts. But this time, James Vick lost by a knockout the very first round, 1 minute and 27 seconds in. Michael Johnson defeated Andre Fili. That was a split decision. Courtney Casey defeated Angela Hill in a women's strawweight bout, 115 pounds, 30-27, 29-28, and then 29-28 split decisions. Bottom line is, when decisions are split, there's only 3 rounds. Man, that's why you've got to go. I used to fight 3 rounds. When you fought 3 rounds, it was all about, if you lost the first round, the chance of you winning that fight are really down. You just had to win that first fight. If you didn't impose your will in that first round, man, you had to do so much to overcome to push the water, the force of the water back against you. It's like a river coming against you. How far can you swim against the water? Bottom line is, tough to do after you lose that very first round. But the rest of the fight card, what can I say? I'm not all the thrilled with it. Mickey Gall was a winner. It wasn't Mickey Gall, the guy that beat up on CM Punk, I think it was. But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, it wasn't a fight card worth paying for. That's why this one was on, obviously, Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports 2, and Fight Pass. And yes, he did beat CM Punk back in 2016. But speaking of CM Punk, contemplating a return to the world of mixed martial arts, why? You can't fight in the UFC. They're not going to allow you back. They use you. I mean, I don't want to use the word pimp, but Dana White's a slick dude. He brought this guy in with a wrestling background. And of course, pro wrestling, Mr. Clean, Mr. Straight Edge, all that kind of good stuff. Had a good rap going for him. Was a pay-per-view commodity. So when he fought for the UFC, that spiked their pay-per-view a little bit. But, he got annihilated, not once but twice. So please don't bring this guy back again, because he's going to be suffering from CTE sooner rather than later. So that sort of wraps up this card last night. Of course, come to you from Lincoln, Nebraska, Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports 2, and UFC Fight Pass. Now, 12/29/18, December 29th, 2018, 2 mean chicks hook it up for the UFC 145-pound featherweight championship. I'm talking about Chris Cyborg Santos and Amanda Nunes. Let's check in on this fight. Pre-fight, baby.
No, I wait for Amanda. Amanda calling me out, and now I'm here to weigh her.
So Amanda Nunes, UFC bantamweight champion, you believe that will be your next fight?
I know, Brazil against Brazilians, for me it's sad, but I don't know what to make this fight. And she calling me out. And when you call it Cyberwalk, you have to handle it.
The fight to make is her and Nunes. That's the fight that needs to happen. Nunes wants to fight. She wants to fight. I want the fight. I'm sure the fans want to see it too. So we'll get that one going.
I always said I don't know to like fight somebody Brazilian because of the, but if she wanna fight me, I fight anybody with Dana White put in front of me.
She talk about because we are Brazilian, we not supposed to fight, things like that. But when you become a professional fighter, to become the best, you want to beat the best,
Sure.
It's not personal against her.
What they're going to do is Amanda Nunes. That's the fight. Yeah. Amanda Nunes wants it. Cyborg wants it. I like the fight, and I think technically Amanda Nunes is better as far as a technician as Cyborg. However, for, let's say that's 5 rounds, even 3 rounds. Over those 3 rounds, I don't think she possesses the same power as Cyborg. You know what I'm saying? When Cyborg hits a girl, you see it on their face.
Do you think that anyone possesses a big challenge or would possess a big challenge to Chris Cyborg, though?
Yeah, I think that Amanda could. I think Amanda Nunes could do it because she hits so hard for her division. I mean, it's really unreal the power that woman has, and she's very long. She's deceptively rangy. She uses her range well. She's got the judo, and she's good on the ground. So yes, she is a smaller woman, but she's very fast and she's extremely powerful. I don't know if there's anybody that has been able to hit Cyborg with the power that Amanda possesses. So it's interesting. I think at least it makes an interesting fight.
Cyborg Amanda's a good fight.
That's a real good fight.
I'm a huge Amanda Nunes fan. I just think over that time, she's going to land some shots on Cyborg. Cyborg get hit, but when Cyborg hits you, it's just, you can't play that game with her. There's no female in the world who can play that game with her.
Amanda's got legit one-punch power. Legit smack-em-up power. Real black belt in jiu-jitsu. Very good at fighting. Knows how to fight.
Phenomenal fighter.
Yeah, she knows how to fight.
You know who can fight?
Cyborg.
Yep, she's the greatest female fighter of all time.
It's hard to argue.
So Amanda calls out Cyborg. Cyborg accepts. Amanda did the call out. Amanda's got to be ready to fight. Now Amanda's saying, my foot hurts and my this or that. Then you shouldn't have done the call out. But Amanda calls her out but can't fight? What is that? But in many ways, Amanda's already struck out. She calls out Cyborg. Cyborg gets pissed off, accepts the challenge. To which Amanda quickly responds, I have no problem with Chris Cyborg. This is just the fight the fans want to see. Right, she starts to backtrack on it. It's like, Amanda, if you're going to gangster up and do a call out, see it through. Set a date. Soon as possible.
Chris Cyborg, she is without a doubt the scariest female mixed martial arts fighter on the planet Earth. She defends her Invicta Featherweight Championship. The power difference is just so obvious. Cyborg is rocking home. And it's over. Cyborg remains champion.
Chris Cyborg! And still the UFC Women's Featherweight Champion. Another night at the office for the best in the world.
Pretty scary to take on either woman. I'm serious. 135 pounds. Amanda Nunes punches really hard. She boxes well. I mean, she's got good boxing skill, and that's what's getting these girls across. Everybody thinks, wrestling and grappling. No, and judo and jiu-jitsu. The bottom line is everybody's starting to rise to the top because they're showing some boxing skills. If you don't have any boxing skills, guess what? You're not going to make it in the world of mixed martial arts anymore. So straight up, boxing adding making its presence known in the world of MMA, no doubt about that. I mean, think about the guys in the top of each division. Each guy can box a little bit. Speaking of a guy that can box a little bit, wow, Khabib. We'll get into Khabib and Conor, of course, in our next segment. But that fight's going to go down, and that's a scary fight. Of course, UFC 229, the 6th of October, again, that same arena, T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, Paradise, Nevada, call it what you want. But the bottom line is Khabib and McGregor, I'd be scared if I was Conor McGregor. I mean, yeah, Conor can punch, but I just can't see him winning this fight with Khabib outside of landing a lucky punch. If he doesn't land a lucky punch, he's going to get beat. Now, I could possibly be wrong, but I look at this fight, and I thought about it and thought about both guys on the ground, thought about both guys standing up, thought about them locked up and this and that. I just can't see any department or any criteria or any individual thing that Conor does better than Khabib. He doesn't punch harder than Khabib. He might be a tad faster, but outside of that, I don't think he's got any advantages over Khabib going into that fight. Of course, October the 6th, live on pay-per-view. Check it out. That'll be a fight worth watching on pay-per-view. I'm telling you, we'll go into that in depth in the next segment of Ring Talk Live Worldwide. Of course, you're tuned to the Mighty Sports Byline Broadcast Network. Open phone lines around the planet, 1-800-878-PLAY. That's 1-800-878-7529. You're tuned to the MMA Hour, live on Sports Byline.
You're listening to the MMA Hour.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. That's 800-535-7789.
If you or someone you love suffers from drug addiction, now is the time to utilize your private health insurance PPO plan. If eligible, receive up to $30,000 or more in substance abuse benefits with low or no out-of-pocket cost. We are the National Treatment Network, the premier drug and alcohol treatment referral service operating 24/7. We help connect you with facilities nationwide that accepts PPO private health insurance for substance abuse. If you have PPO substance abuse coverage and you need immediate admittance to a medical detox or residential rehab treatment center, call us now. Call our live referral helpline today. The call is free. This program is not available to Medicare or Medicaid customers.
Call 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. That's 800-296-1252.
Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Clapper, Chief of Orthopedic Surgery at Cedars-Sinai Medical Group in Los Angeles, California. Dedicated to your health, your life, and your sports. As a weekend warrior, you know about sports injuries and pain. Exercise is an important element in keeping your body's core in good shape to minimize sports injuries. But when you are in pain, there is one product that I recommend to my patients, and that is Blue Goo Gel. Blue Goo consists of a proprietary formula developed specifically for the treatment of inflammation and general muscle aches and strains. I recommend Blue Goo for my patients coping with hip and knee pain before surgery, especially bursitis and tendinitis. Give Blue Goo a try. Call 1-888-330-0123 and you'll receive a 1-week supply of Blue Goo absolutely free. The makers of Blue Goo are even paying the shipping. The number again is 1-888-330-0123. If you want more information on Blue Goo, visit online at www.dothegoo.com.
Now available at select Big 5 stores near you.
Now, back to Pedro Fernandez with the MMA Hour.
UFC 232, rock and roll on December 29th. It looks like that fight card will also feature, get this, Brock Lesnar and Daniel Cormier, the aforementioned Daniel Cormier for the heavyweight championship. We'll see if that goes down. We'll talk about that in depth next week if that fight is put on the bill. Straight up, Khabib. Khabib, what can I say? 25-0. Some say he's 24-0. Some say he's 26-0. Bottom line is, nobody's saying he's ever lost a fight. He's never been in danger of losing a fight. He's so bad, so tough, so mean, so malicious that he's told guys during beatdowns, I've broken you. Please stop before I have to hurt you. And it's pretty scary because he goes on to hurt them. The bottom line is, Khabib and Conor McGregor, this is the fight of the year, no doubt about it.
Of course, Conor McGregor is back in action at UFC 229 in October. He is challenging the lightweight king Khabib Nurmagomedov in a night we will likely never forget.
That's happening?
All right, guys, of course, it has been some time since we've seen Conor McGregor in the octagon. But Kenny Florian, obviously it's a fight he's got to keep on the feet.
Yeah, I think so. Listen, no one wants to go to the ground with Khabib Nurmagomedov, but I truly believe that this actually puts Conor McGregor in a great situation. I think he fights best when people are doubting him. You look at his fight against Jose Aldo, against Chad Mendes. It brings out the best in Conor McGregor, and I think he really is bringing this passion and this love for the game. He's finally back in the octagon where he does his best work. Khabib, I mean, what can you say about him? The guy is an absolute juggernaut from Dagestan. He gets the takedown. He beats you up. Rinse, wash, repeat.
Yeah.
Both these guys hate each other. This is as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Also, this big fight, trash talk, the gamesmanship, this is where Conor thrives. He's used to being under the spotlight. Right. He's used to talking his way into a fighter's head. Khabib,
Ice cold, though. You never know that anything's getting him, so the psychological gamesmanship, big part of this fight.
Who do you think has got the edge already, though? Do you see somebody gaming better than the other yet?
No one outgames Conor McGregor. He's the best at that. But with the time off, Khabib is more physically prepared. He's been fresher. He's had more octagon time in the last couple of years. That's huge.
I think for McGregor, he knows he just has to find a way to land that left hand. Habib, I think he's feeling a lot of pressure being undefeated. I think a lot of people expect him to go out there and just do what he's been doing. I think the pressure's on him here.
All right.
All right, so my lightweight rankings, here it is. Number 5, I had Eddie Alvarez. He just lost to Dustin Poirier, so I think that puts him at number 5. At number 4, I have Kevin Lee. He's 17-3 right now. Got back on track after that last fight against Tony Ferguson and beating Edson Barbosa. Showed a lot of heart in that fight as well. I have him at 4. At number 3, I have Dustin Poirier. This guy has been on an absolute tear against phenomenal competition. Wins over Gaethje, Alvarez, Anthony Pettis. At number 2, we can't forget about Tony Ferguson and what he has done in the lightweight division against tough competition. He is 10-0 in his last 10 fights. Absolutely amazing. And still the number 1 ranked fighter. I think it makes sense. You got to have Conor McGregor there. You look at the fact that he has 2 belts. Yes, he's been out of the game for a little bit, but this is a guy who has a knack for the knockout. Brings all the flash, but we can't forget about the skills that he brings into the octagon as well. I have Conor at number 1. Can't wait for his fight against Khabib Nurmagomedov, the champ.
We can talk about him or we can talk to him. So right now, why don't we welcome in the victorious Justin Gaethje. First and foremost, congratulations. Another stellar performance from you. This time, you didn't have to take so much damage, which makes, I'm sure, a lot of your fans happy. But how good does this victory feel, especially since you said you did take the things he said about you personally?
Feels amazing. I forgot what this felt like. Coming off 2 losses, it's a tough spot. You heard many people say it, but you start questioning yourself. I'm just glad, I used it as a learning experience. I feel like I was way more patient than I always have been. I wanted to go out there and I wanted to pick my shots. I wanted to pressure him with my feet, get my head to his chest, and then smoke him. And that's what I did.
You still did it pretty early, though, Justin. I mean, it was very impressive. Was there something that you changed in your training camps because of the struggles as of late?
Nope. No, sir. I was just,
Next question.
Yeah. I just, I worked on being more patient, picking my shots, not becoming complacent in my position. Obviously, we didn't get to the later rounds where I tend to get complacent in my position. But, again, unforgiving sport takes 1 shot. Could have been me. Could have been him. You got to be real. You can't. The more you talk, the harder the fall. And, I hope James can climb back from this, but it's going to be difficult.
My question for you, against an opponent in Poirier, Alvarez, Johnson, are guys who were willing to stand right in the pocket, trade big punches for you. Was it important for you to show in this fight you could take on a guy who was a little more awkward, threw a lot of kicks, a lot taller? Was it important to show that you can beat a wide variety of opponents?
No, I mean, I never took that into account. Hey, I'm a fighter. I'm here to become a legend, and you put it on the line. That's how you become a legend. I don't... whatever, fighting, I love this. I love it so much, if you cannot tell.
And we love that you love it, and we can tell. Now, listen, I know you can't see them, but luckily you know what Kenny and Jimmy look like. I want you to take a listen, Justin, to their reaction to your knockout. Take a listen. Oh! Oh! Snap! A doodle, dude!
That's how I saw it.
Boom!
Wow.
Goes the dynamite. Holy crap. Yeah, so we were a little fired up here, Justin. Did it feel as good for you as it did for us?
Yeah, were they laughing?
No, we're jumping up and down. We're like, oh, snap. It was like the
I almost squeezed Jimmy Smith's arm off.
I couldn't hear that. I couldn't hear anything right now.
Trust us.
But
it was amazing.
Believe me, I felt the same way inside. Absolutely. 100%. God, I love this stuff.
Justin, you were absolutely fearless, man, time and time again. Is there someone else that you're looking to fight next? Do you have a name in mind?
Yeah, I mean, I'm number 7 right now. With the win, I feel like you deserve somebody in front of you. With the loss, I feel like you have to fight someone behind you. That's what I just did. I would love to. Ali Akinti ain't going to get it because he's scared, but I would love to fight Tony Ferguson. I heard he might be fighting Anthony Pettis, so who knows, man? I don't know. I don't even know.
So would you want to fight the winner of that? It has been confirmed. Would you want to fight the winner of that? Does that make sense for you?
We'll see, man. We'll see. It all makes sense. I want to fight somebody. I love fighting. I want to fight someone in front of me. I think Pettis is not in front of me, and Tony is, so who knows? Who knows?
You got another?
I'm just living right now, man. I live in the moment. My life doesn't even exist after tonight. It didn't before this fight. I go in here, and, as crazy and stupid as it sounds, I come to give the ultimate sacrifice, whether that's, whatever. I love this. I want you guys to know how much I love it. You have to go.
I love it.
You got an extra $50,000 now, another performance of the night bonus. You got it, man. Do not bet it all on your golf skills.
Yeah, dude.
You saw that? Keep that money. Bet a little. Bet a couple hundred, man. We do what we can for you, buddy. All right?
Against you, Jimmy.
I will bet you.
Nice.
Considering I've never played golf before, that it's a very safe bet, man. Very safe bet. Congratulations,
100%.
buddy.
That's awesome. Listen,
Thank
Justin.
you guys. Hey, thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and listen, we appreciate what you do. You put it all in line every single time. We can feel the love that you have for the game, and we really appreciate it. Congratulations again on another awesome victory.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank God.
Kenny Florian and the UFC crew, they're finishing up there with Justin Gaethje. No doubt about it. Justin was a stud last night. He's been a stud all along. Lost those 2 fights in a row to Dustin Poirier and Eddie Alvarez. Eddie Alvarez being the former champion. No shame in losing to those guys. Of course, lost by a knockout via knee versus Poirier and lost with a TKO on punches to Eddie. But the bottom line is, kid's a good fighter. He's learned. Maybe he said he loves to fight and loves to see things in the future out of him. But 19-2 now, pretty darn good record, no doubt about it. Speaking of records, Brock Lesnar doesn't have the greatest record in all of mixed martial arts. He just doesn't. I think he's been vastly overrated. In fact, when I watched Brock Lesnar fight in the UFC, I saw him run from guys, turn his back from guys. I mean, there was times when he should have just been, how can I put this, disqualified or ruled a TKO loser for cowardice, because he just turned and he ran. That's just the way he did it again. And I just don't see him beating a real heavyweight. And I don't think that, I'm sorry. I know that Danny Cormier just beat Stipe Miocic, and Stipe was a world heavyweight champion, but, I just don't see it. Cormier weighed in his 230s. I mean, people thought he was really fat and he was going to come in and really be slow, but he packed a good punch. I mean, he was packing good punches, and he threw his punches well. So we'll see how that works out. But Brock Lesnar, now 41 years old, going to do battle with the world heavyweight champion, of course, but he isn't a heavyweight, or is he? There is the debate: is Daniel Cormier a fat light heavyweight, or is he a fat heavyweight? Which one is it? Because he was pudgy at both fights, both ways. I mean, Anderson Silva nearly beat him. Knocked him out in that fight. Anderson Silva, took it to weigh-in the day before? Anderson was just kicking back, having like a coffee or something like that. And they said to him, yeah, John Jones just got pulled out of this fight. We need somebody to fill in. Hey, I'll do it. And he almost knocked Cormier out with a shot to the ribs. So that's where Cormier's weak spot is to the body, I think, no doubt about it. And unfortunately, nobody's been able to exploit that or try to exploit it since Anderson Silva did open that up there, because I'm telling you, there was blood in the water, but Anderson was so old, old. The spider, call him what you want, but not much venom left in him at that point in time. And he couldn't smell the blood in the water there. He couldn't get off the mark. Couldn't finish him. And there was a spot to finish Cormier. I mean, talk about a comeback. I mean, taking a fight with the world champion on like 45 minutes notice, and then almost knocking him out. That would have been the key. You've got to finish guys. He didn't finish him because he was too old. He couldn't smell it. Anyway, bottom line is Brock Lesnar, 6'3", 265 pounds. Of course, he's got to weigh in at the UFC heavyweight limit. That's 265. It starts at anything above 205 pounds. 205 pounds is light heavyweight. Lesnar, of course, going to have a huge advantage in muscle mass over Daniel Cormier. That'll be something that Cormier is going to have to overcome. They're both great wrestlers. That's where their forte is. Both guys can wrestle. What's going to happen here? One guy's probably going to get knocked out. Who's it going to be? I don't know. Brock Lesnar and that bad chin of his? Yeah, I don't think his chin's too good. I'll talk about Brock in depth next week, as if this fight's going to happen. I think it will happen because Brock's got to pass those steroid exams, and I think he will. He'll lay off the juice for the big bucks. You are tuned to the MMA Hour live on Sports Byline. Going to switch gears and talk boxing after the break. We're bringing Mr. Las Vegas himself, John Signorella, only on Sports Byline.
This is real. He can push me now, but come when we get into the octagon, I'm going to smash this dude. He hates getting punched in the face. I'm going to punch him over and over and over.
You're listening to the MMA Hour.
Hey, travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780.
If you or a loved one is suffering from a physical or emotional condition that has left you unable to work, then listen carefully. Take this number down. 800-593-7491. That's 800-593-7491. When you call, you'll speak with a Social Security disability expert and get a free evaluation to see if you may qualify for disability insurance benefits from the U.S. government. That's right, a monthly cash payment paid directly to you from the Social Security Administration. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied disability benefits, call now. The disability attorneys at Pinnacle Disability can help you build your case, file an appeal, and represent you at no upfront cost to you. Don't wait another minute to see if you may qualify for your Social Security disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
Do you have Medicare and do you use a CPAP machine? This is a national healthcare alert regarding your CPAP supplies. Using a clean CPAP mask and clean supplies is important to staying healthy. The best way to make sure your CPAP equipment is clean is to get new supplies. If you have Medicare, we have great news. Medicare will pay for you to have new clean supplies every 90 days. We'll even do all the paperwork for you to make sure that there's little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. And you don't even have to leave your home. We provide free in-home delivery. So if you're a CPAP user and you have Medicare, staying healthy with new CPAP equipment is easy. Just make this free phone call right now to get started.
Call the CPAP hotline now. 800-430-4234. 800-430-4234. That's 800-430-4234. Copays and deductibles apply. Supplies are replaced in accordance with Medicare guidelines.
Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier! The heavyweight champion is taking the mandatory 8 count, and Foreman is as poised as can be.
Now, back to Pedro Fernandez with the MMA Hour.
You ask me how well did he fight, I don't know, but I can tell you one thing, he punched good.
Joe Frazier, the late, great Joe Frazier, Philadelphia's very own, folks. They have a statue of Sylvester Stallone in the center of Philadelphia, and they don't have one of Joe Frazier. Although I rapped Joe Frazier because, of course, he was charging for autographs. I thought that was a bit of a stiff. I mean, him and Joe DiMaggio are probably the only two guys. Joe DiMaggio made a living off autographs, but Joe Frazier, I don't know. Anyway, Larry Mercer says I shouldn't rap him for that. He was a great champion, no doubt about that. Beating Muhammad Ali in the fight of the century, March 8th, 1971. Hurting Ali at round 12, almost decapitating him. And then, of course, knocking him down in the 15th and final round. Bottom line is we're talking boxing this segment, and we've got big fights coming up September the 8th. Of course, Danny Garcia and, of course, Sean Porter. But on that same day, it looks like HBO is going to go with a guy named Estrada. Talk to me about that. Are the promoters going against each other on the same days again, Johnny?
I really hate when they do that. Nowadays, there's more often cards on Saturdays. I mean, sometimes 2 or 3. So I give him a little bit of leniency because remember when there was like times where Saturdays went by for like 2-3 weeks and there was no boxing on, and then Showtime and HBO just decided to, after a month of like no televised fights, to air a fight on the same day. That used to really, really aggravate me. But yeah, I think they're in competition. But at the end of the day, Showtime versus HBO in the modern era, the past 2 years, there is no competition. Showtime is running away with it.
Once the heavyweight champion of cable, folks, I kid you not, they just did. I mean, Showtime was considered, in the early days of Jay Larkin, Don King television for the most part. And Don used to put a bunch of bunk fights on Showtime.
Absolutely, man. And then, luckily enough, he got Tyson over there. Holyfield put on some good shows. I believe Chavez went over there at some point, if I'm not mistaken. And so then Showtime started to build their platform. And man, what a platform it's become, especially again in the modern era. I think for HBO, it's just budget issues, or maybe a lack of interest, at the top of the table.
So how can time out? How can Showtime be such a major player if they don't have any top ranked fights?
Well, in terms of Bob Arum?
Yeah, isn't Showtime all about Al Heyman? Does anybody show fights? Does anybody show fights on Showtime besides Al Heyman and PBS or whatever they call themselves, PBC?
You know what the thing is? PBC's got a big stable, almost too big. That's why you see guys like not working, a lot of inactivity, which I think is also terrible.
Oh.
I believe Bob Arum on some interview somewhere along the line that I was listening to. I listen to so much content that he said he'd be willing to work and negotiate. With
anybody to make the money. He was ready to. Let me tell you, I've seen him and Don King. They were wrestling one night, and I think it was at Duran. At Leonard and Hagler. They got into like almost a fist fight because Don King got in the ring and it wasn't even his fight. Okay, so he just got in the ring, and Bob Arum went over there and they was almost ready to slug it out. So these guys, they've been down the road together. But right now, Bob Arum, how can I put this? I think he's in a position where he realizes that in order to put things forward, I mean, whether it's with Al Heyman or not, he's got to put his fighters on the line. And that means if he's got to fight Al's guys, he's got to fight Al's guys. Let's fight our guys against each guys like back in the 80s when nobody was scared.
I agree, and I'm glad that people are starting to see that because, what, talent pool is just so big. You can't just separate these guys, via networks. And, you just did the UFC segment, and one thing I got to say about UFC, they got the fight with Cyborg and Nunes coming up. They got McGregor and Khabib coming up, possibly Brock Lesnar coming up, and his fight against Cormier. Bottom line is they give the fans what they want, and I think boxing is starting to get hip to that. I mean, it should have been there from day one, the acknowledgement of give the fans what they want, but I think they're a little bit more eager and more willing to do so than they had about 5 years ago.
So, we have HBO, basically almost a non-entity in the world of boxing. Larry Merchant and I have scratched our head about it on the air, and he thinks that the demographics aren't there, or they would be putting money on boxing. Any merit to that?
I think they got to pay for those very expensive CGI dragons that Game of Thrones develops, At the end of the day, I think it's a budget thing. I think they're more into their content, their shows, and I don't think that guys at the top of the table, again, at HBO, at the corporation, are into boxing as much as they used to be in the past. Like when Lou DiBella ran it, he's a boxing guy. Right now, Steven Espinosa on Showtime, he's a boxing guy. You can listen to him talk boxing like me and you talk, very deep, very vast, knows his stuff. And not that the guy at HBO, Nelson, doesn't, but he might be just a lone soldier out there, still trying to say, hey, guys, boxing is hot. People will watch this thing. So, I think it comes down to budget and the overall interest from the suits and executives over at HBO.
Speaking of Mr. Espinosa, he told a friend of mine I was ringside, or octagon side, or cage side, whatever you want to call it down there, for a Showtime event a couple of years ago in San Jose, California, and he said that there were more Hispanics watching his MMA events per event, percentage-wise, than were watching his boxing events. Now, there were more people watching his boxing events, meaning there were more Hispanics watching his boxing events overall, but percentage-wise, the MMA world was building up the world of Hispanics. And, of course, Hispanics, they turned the pay-per-view crank like nobody else.
Yeah, man, that's a good observation of things, and that's why I like Espinosa. He's very observant. Like, this thing, there's no mistake to be made here that Showtime's success didn't come from research, that it came from a place of some people sitting down that really care about this sport and say, you know what, how can we give the public the content that the public's going to enjoy, the fights that matter, and get this thing bumping again? Because like I've been saying, the talent pool in boxing is huge. There's so many unbeaten good fighters out there, weight classes filled with them. And if they're willing to fight each other, man, this sport will be so healthy, Pete.
Okay, speaking of healthy, Danny Swift Garcia, healthy fighter, 140-pounder, I thought, 34-1 now. Lost that one fight at 147 with Keith Thurman, right?
Yes, Keith Thurman. Close fight, but I felt Keith won.
I thought Keith won that fight. A friend of mine was there, Hector Martinez, and he called me on the phone. Oh, I thought Danny got robbed. And he came home when he watched it on tape again, and he realized Danny didn't get robbed. Danny didn't throw enough punches.
Absolutely, and that's the MO on him, and I think that at the end of the day, in this fight, it might come down to the same thing, especially because Sean Porter comes at you like a tornado, man. He makes you work. He's going to lay on you and make you use physical attributes that, muscles and stuff that will cramp you up that you've never been accustomed to using. He's a very physical fighter, and I think if stamina is an issue for Danny Garcia, then Sean Porter could definitely expose that and maybe fade Garcia out or keep the handcuffs on him.
You know what's funny is I look at Sean Porter as an easier fight. I mean, for a guy with a decent jab, a guy with a good jab that can move away from his right hand and just keep circling to the left, circling that one side away from that right hand. I don't know. I think because he's small, see, and I can exploit size. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way it's always been for me. I could exploit size. Not that I couldn't fight with guys my own size, but if you've got a size advantage over somebody, man, take advantage of it.
Yeah, use the jab, like you said. Keep your geography intact by using the jab, keeping the guy off you. Porter's tough to keep off though because he comes in real aggressive like a football player. And I think that he could be a better, more formidable boxer than Porter. It frustrates me sometimes, but he believes in it, and it's effective to a certain degree.
Danny Garcia's father is more entertaining than Danny Garcia. Is that that's the way I feel. Am I wrong to say that?
Absolutely not, 100%. Give him the gloves. Let him go in there. Give him the mic. Never mind. Just have him on the mic.
The guy almost does like stand-up comedy. It's hysterical.
Oh, he's great. He's great. And that's a good thing for boxing. We need those type of characters, man.
Yeah. We're characters we need, but, I was talking in hour number one about how Panama Lewis, how the genius of Panama Lewis was wasted away because of his being such a criminal. But, man, God, I wish I could cut the cancer out of that guy. He just can't. Or am I wrong, and should we give him a second chance seeing this is 30 years later? Tell me, Johnny, what do you think?
I think, 30 years later, you give him a second chance. If he was willing to ever admit it, especially, some of the things, the wrongdoings that he did, then you definitely, 100%. He knows boxing, but at the end of the day, he sat on the side. Like, they didn't even let him in events, to my understanding, right?
No, they blocked him. They blocked him from
events.
Couldn't work corners, had to work. Worked a lot in the gym.
They put him in the nosebleeds, Yeah,
and of course, he trained Tyson for the Buster Mathis fight. And needless to say that was hot. That I was so close. But I mean, I don't think it's ever been. I couldn't imagine anything between me not pulling the trigger. I just can't imagine it. It was that close. You know what I'm saying? Because he was such a big dude, and I realized if I kept popping off here, that I had to pop first. I couldn't let him pop first or let him miss. If you let him miss, it's cool. Like Henry Clark. Henry Clark was Ali's sparring partner. He threw a right hand at me. I ducked it and hooked him, and he was down. Nelson's story for another day. He was Ali's sparring partner for the George Foreman fight, and here's Henry Clark's claim to fame, besides me knocking him down, and him being the California heavyweight champion. I kid you not, man. Here's what he did. I'm promoting a boxing card. I was the matchmaker, the semi-promoter, the ring announcer, the ticket seller, the whole 9 yards for a couple of cards here in San Francisco in the 90s. So I gave Henry Clark like 15 free tickets, or 6, 8. They go in pairs. So I guess one ticket for him, and then 14 tickets for anybody he wanted to give them to, because he had a little boxing gym out there in the hood. And I thought that was really cool, because plus Henry was a bit of a celebrity, San Francisco, all that kind of good stuff. So all of a sudden, I'm sitting inside in the arena, chilling, and I feel a draft. I said, why should there be a draft? Well, I look over, and one of the exit doors open, and Henry is at the exit door. He's holding it open, and all these people are running through. I mean, like 35 or 40 people running through. So you can imagine how upset I was when I went and confronted Henry, and that's why Henry ended up throwing it on me, and I knocked him down. That's the story. Okay,
Great story,
another only unboxing story. I mean, that couldn't happen in any world.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I love the sport so much, man. The theater of the unexpected.
Theater of the unexpected. Now, Danny Garcia, is he a real welterweight?
No, I think not. I think he'd be better served at 140. But, I can't say he's running from those cats who I mentioned time and time again, great division, because 147 definitely has a great weight class. I just want to see these guys fight more frequently. Where is Keith Thurman, Pete? What happened to him? What's going on?
I was told there were surgery issues.
I think it's a lot of issues,
Well, you think they're above the head? Is that what you're trying to say? They're in the head?
I think it's more or less he's just enjoying life, and that's really not an issue, I should say. He got married, he's taking his time off, he's enjoying his money. But, man, I like that kid, and it's a shame that he just keeps, teasing the audience. I'm going to come back, back.
Listen, did you hear me groaning earlier? We was groaning. We were talking about inactivity. I was groaning, okay? The reason why I'm groaning through it, because nothing kills a fighter more than inactivity. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Thank you, brother. And that's what I say all the time. We got to keep these people's names in people's homes and in their heads. Activity, you need to fight. And that's the one thing I don't like about the PBC stable. Let's move, guys. Let's there's not enough TV dates. So you know what? Do an app thing. Do a Facebook watch thing. Do a YouTube thing. The streaming thing is huge right now. Just get these guys out there.
The great John Signorello of Las Vegas, Nevada, folks. Check him out. Ring Talk on YouTube. Of course, just enter Ring Talk, and you can listen to any of our shows on YouTube.com. Of course, straight up brought to you by the great John Signorello. Johnny, all the best. You will talk soon next week, buddy.
Thanks so much, Pedro. Everyone, enjoy your Sunday.
The great Johnny Sig. I call him Siggy, baby, on Sports Byline, iHeartRadio, Sirius XM, Satellite Radio, the American Forces Network, iTunes, Stitcher.com, TuneIn.com. Can I keep going? No, I'm out of time. You're tuned to the MMA Hour live on Sports Byline.
It has been said that everyone has a book in them. But do you have the time or the ability to write your book? Maybe you picked up some skills or had a life experience that you want to pass on in the form of a book to help others. Maybe you want to leave an autobiography for your family. Or maybe you've built a successful business and you want to share your story. At Dorrance Publishing Company, we have professional writers who can help turn your book idea into a finished manuscript quickly and affordably. A Dorrance ghostwriter can provide as much or as little help as you need to complete your book. You'll work directly with your ghostwriter to finish your book faster than you ever could on your own. It's easy to become a published author. Call Dorrance now to learn more. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. Call right now. That number is 800-485-6003.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply. Subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
Attention to anyone that's written a book or wants to write a book. The process is not that complicated. Take a first step. Even if you write a page a day, you'll build momentum and your book will become a reality. The hard part is getting it published. That's when you need to call Page Publishing. They've got hundreds and hundreds of thank yous from different new authors, just like you. They make the process of publishing your new book and getting it sold online a simple process. You can learn how simple it is right now by calling for your free Page Publishing New Author Submission Kit. One quick 3-minute phone call, that's all it takes to get free information and learn how you can get your book published. Pick up your phone right now and call us 24 hours a day at this number. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. That's 800-603-0885.
So you've been kicked, punched, choked, slammed down, knocked out, and even had some bones broken. So what makes you think you can handle more than a holds bar show, wise guy? Now back to the program.
Wrapping up hour number 2, of course, another 2-hour edition of No Holds Barred live from the Sports Byline Studios in San Francisco, California. Folks, if you just tuned in, guess what? We start at 5 p.m. Pacific time each and every Sunday right here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. An hour of pro wrestling. Myself and Dr. Mike, we talk pro wrestling. Of course, hour number 2, we talk boxing, pro wrestling, and mixed martial arts as well. Sort of a hodgepodge in hour number 2. But the bottom line is I want to thank the people that made this show possible. Wow. Chris Cyborg Santos. She is the most dominant force ever in the world of female mixed martial arts. I think there's some guys out there she can beat, but her and Amanda Nunes, that's going to be one hell of a fight. December 29th, no doubt about that. And, of course, the co-feature, Brock Lesnar, the big puss that he is, 280 pounds of puss. That's what I think he is. Hit him on the chin, he turns around and runs like a girl. Anyway, he'll be taking on Danny Cormier, the reigning UFC heavyweight champion. So that's going to be a spectacular card to end the year 2018 as far as the UFC is concerned. Boxing, it's rocking and rolling. September 8th, Danny Garcia going to take on Sean Porter. That will be on Showtime. Of course, ESPN and HBO are reaching out with some decent boxing cards as well. So boxing, mixed martial arts, pro wrestling, it's all hot. It's happening. And I thank you so much for being part of No Holds Barred. Listen, there's 1,000, maybe 1,000,000 things you can be doing in the entire world right now. The fact that you're listening to this show on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, well, I feel touched, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is Pedro Fernandez, live from Sports Byline.